First of all, let's get right into it, man. How's your day going?
Going good, man. Going good. It's 11:30. This is my second podcast for today, so I'm like warmed up now.
Hey,
So, but yeah, no.
nice.
I mean, my mornings are always
Awesome.
chaotic because like I don't. I mean, I have a daughter. So like, no, I'm not a single parent. Me and my fiance, like I'm the entrepreneur, so like I tend to like get her ready and take her to school because my fiance has to be at her job by like 9 a.m. So she's got more of
Yeah.
the corporate type of thing. So like I'm like
Yeah.
I got her. So it's like I'm always like chaos in the morning. Like there's absolutely no morning routine whatsoever. It's just like my 6-year-old fucking going crazy. So,
That's awesome. But
but
your life's changed a lot in like the past 3 years or so, from
mm,
what I can gather from looking into your story and whatnot. So can you give me and we're gonna get into that, but can you give me the story of like your entrepreneurial story before TikTok?
yeah. So I mean, a lot of people obviously they don't know it. I've been online. Like I have not had an actual like regular job in like 12 years. Um,
Okay.
like I'm 39, so I'm actually old. Most people don't realize I'm like I mean. Some angry commenters tell me I look 40, but like for the most part, I'm like people are like, oh, I didn't know you were like almost 40. So like, but yeah, I got started online. I want to say it's about 12 years ago now. It originally started because I was working at Lowe's. I sold doors and windows. Like I'm a devout
Cool.
salesman. I've been selling my whole life. It's how I've made
Yeah.
my money, like commissions. And I was working there, like groomed for management. I was super young, energetic, like hungry, and I got to the point where I'm like, yo, I'm never gonna make more than 6 figures if I work for Lowe's. And I was like, not that I think that's a bad income in any way. I was just like, yeah, I want the opportunity to have more if I decide I want more. So I actually was given like I at the time I was a very good amateur BMX racer, and I went to like the final one of the races, and they give you the opportunity to turn pro, and that was right around when the BMX was going to be in the Olympics. It still is in the Olympics. It was like the first year, and I was like, I didn't necessarily think I was good enough to be in the Olympics, but I was definitely too good to continue to race amateur. So I was like, fuck it, let's try this pro thing out. And I told Lowe's that, and they made it really difficult for me to be a professional BMX racer. They wouldn't give me time off, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I quit. Like, and I happened to, in hindsight, it was a little premature on the quitting part. But I was smart because I worked for Lowe's and I have no bad feelings about Lowe's. I think from a sales perspective and what I learned there, like managing people, like it was awesome. Like it was a great job. Um, but so I started, I cashed in all my 401k because I had worked for Lowe's for almost 8 years.
Oh
Like
wow.
from when I was 20 to like 28 is like when I worked, or maybe 26, 27 when I worked at Lowe's. And so I had like $20,000 in 401k saved up. Um, and I just cashed it out. Like I took the big hit. And like I think I ended up cashing out to like 15k. And I basically lived on that for like a year, like maybe a little longer, like that plus my BMX. So I was like super like poverty level, like no, like, eating ramen, just being super cheap. I moved back in with my parents, like,
Yeah.
and I was able to race my bike and travel around and like be a pro per se. But then I was like, man, I really need to make money and I can't get a job now because like I've already kind of devolved into this pro BMX racer. So I read the 4 Hour Work Week and I was like, yo, I can get rich from making a DVD. And so I made a DVD teaching BMXers how to get faster on their bike. And that turned into, and this is before YouTube. Like YouTube was like, it's just not even a thing yet. So that's how long ago
Damn.
that was. And then that turned into me, and just a little backstory is like my dad is a videographer. So that's kind of where
Cool.
I have the editing gene per se, if you will.
Yeah.
Although I never cared about video editing at all. It was just my dad's job. It's like what he did. He filmed cool stuff, airplanes and cars, and these little videos, and people liked them. And so but when it was like, oh, I can get rich by making a DVD, I'm like, all of a sudden I was like, hey, Dad, I need your help. Like we can get rich together. And thankfully he probably thought I was full of shit, but he helped me make a DVD, and I started selling it out of like my backpack, and like eventually like I made my own website, and then I started making videos to promote my DVD. And I did that for about 2 years, and like I was able to self fund and travel and be a pro BMX racer. Like, but it wasn't like glamorous. It's not like I was like super sponsored or anything like that. It was just I was too good to be amateur, but not quite good enough to be the top pro. Like I was like that weird place. If I could compare it to anything, it's like you get a full scholarship as an NCAA athlete, and then you just graduate and your career's over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so it came to a point where I was like super burnt out, and I was like, the DVD, although was selling, I was making around $2,000 a month for my DVD, which is I thought was pretty cool. Even looking
Yeah. That's
back, like,
solid.
you know, it was like $20 DVD, and I was selling enough, like, you know, but I you know, so basically I just got so burnt out. I was like, fuck it, I quit. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm like, but I took all those skill sets. Like, now I taught myself websites, landing pages, email lists, you know, selling products, you know, making videos. And the one thing I was like, yo, let's just keep making videos. Only this time I'll do it around like fitness products, because, you know, I was just I like working out. And then that turned into me being an affiliate for a lot of the big, like, you know, everybody considers them a scam now, but it's like all the ClickBank products and, like, you know, testosterone boosters, and, you know, but they paid really good commission. I just made a bunch of videos and like websites. And then that brought me into the world of like 5-page mini sites, which is, for those listening, it's like you would buy the domain, like I love sugarfreeredbull.com. And then like it would rank, because it said Red Bull in it, it would rank under the term Red Bull, because that's what SEO was like back then. And I did that for 500 sites. I just kept buying domains, and it worked up to where I was making, at its peak, it was very short-lived, but it was very lucrative. It was doing around $1,000 a day for roughly 6 months. And
how are you making money? Just from like
affiliate pro? No, well, I tried AdSense, but it wasn't as, like, it was more, they were niche targeted sites. So just a perfect example, one of my most lucrative sites, this is what it's hilarious, is if you remember the show Jersey Shore, like on MTV, well, the situation, obviously, like on the show, he was like ripped. And I was like, I remember watching the show, like I was watching the movie Iron Man in the theater, like the original Iron Man. And they played a preview for MTV's Jersey Shore. And I was like, yo, like that guy's kind of ripped. I bet he's going to make a workout. And so literally from the movie theater, I opened my phone, I bought the domain name, the situation workout. I couldn't buy the .com, but I bought .net and .org. Like, and I went home that night after the movie, and I made a blog, like, of a hypothetical workout that he might do. Now, I will say it was good information, because I took my NASM, like I had a background in like personal training, and I was like, you know, I just wasn't a very good trainer. And I was like, yeah, this, and then at the end of it, I just linked to like a product that I thought would get, you know, if you want to look at a situation, you do this workout. And it was like a $50, you know, ClickBank, like information product, you know. And then I kind of forgot about the site. And then when the TV show started airing, I got all these notifications for sales, and I was like, oh shit. Like, and it was like, literally, it turned into like that site. If you Googled the situation workout, which everybody would watch the show and immediately Google his workout. Like, I was making sales for this product with this website, and it was ranked. It wasn't only ranked number one. It like ranked the whole first page. So like every site was mine. And like, and I was like, because it was like I wrote like 10 different articles, and I put them on this site, and I forgot about it. And sure enough, like that singular site, every single Thursday for roughly a year, you know, or so, made around $1,000. Like, so it was like $1,000 a week from one site. And I was like, holy shit, this is like, so then I was like, how many can I make? And then I did every single movie star. I did like Captain America workout when that original, like Chris Evans. I bought CaptainAmericaWorkout.com, ChrisEvansWorkout.com, ChrisEvansWorkout.net. I would buy all of them and build like 5 sites for one thing. So when the movie launched, I'd own the whole first page of Google, and I'd make a few $1,000s every, like, movie launches. Like the most lucrative was Captain America, because he had the biggest transformation. I think that was like a $30,000 weekend. Like off of one singular, like off of, just selling affiliate products from those sites. So like I did that, and then I got cocky and arrogant, and then I thought I was invincible, and then I started like buying bottle service at clubs and spending all my money as fast as it would come in, because like at 26, 27, when you're making that, like, I mean, I wasn't exactly, the term save didn't really make sense to me. So, and I did that, and that's how I met my fiance. And the Google ended up changing their algorithm. It was when the Panda update came out, which was like a major shift for SEO. It leveled all my sites. I went from like $1,000 a day down to like 100, which is still, looking back, $100 a day. It was pretty passive too. Like, it was a great business. It doesn't work at all now, but it's like, it did. And it was, so like, then I just kind of got in like this like depressed state, and then me and my fiance broke, or she's now my fiance, but at the time we were boyfriend girlfriend. We broke up because I was quite miserable, I guess. I wasn't a very good person, you could say. And then I just kind of got confused and lost in life. And like for about 3 or 4 months, I just kind of like, man, I need to like figure my shit out. Like I'm like a very smart guy, apparently. I'm a pretty good entrepreneur. I've managed to make it this far and, you know, make some pretty good money doing some shit that like nobody could ever see. And then it, you know, I got very into it. I was like, okay, if I want to change what I do, I was like, I could change the way I dress. So I was like, so I started watching like men's style videos on YouTube. And I saw like Aaron Marino, I'm Alpha M, and all the big YouTube style YouTubers. And none of them were talking about like, which now I'm single, mind you. So like my mindset's like, go meet women. So I'm like, like all these guys are saying like clothes will get you laid, but they're not really saying it. So like I started going out and I would like wear different outfits and like I was like split testing outfits and like what type of girls hit on you when you wear this or what type of thing. And then I would go home and I'd make YouTube videos about it. And then awesome. and then I also made a digital product very shortly after that. And I'm good friends with a guy. His name's Jason Capital. He's pretty big on the platform. A lot of people love or hate him depending on who you are. He was very big in the dating industry as well. And he's like, we were good friends. And like, he's like, dude, you need to make this product. Like, and the dating industry needs it because it's actually really good information. And most guys, they dress like shit. Like they look bad. So he like published me. We made a product together, which means like we just split everything 50-50. And he was already big. So when that happened, the whole dating and pickup industry started selling my product in their like, you know, email lists and stuff like that. Yeah. And like overnight, it was like another, you know, pretty, you know, $60,000 to $70,000 a year business, like from one product. And I was like, but it was more sustainable because I had my own at that time. Now I'm making my own YouTube videos and I'm selling my own products too. So it wasn't like just relying on Google, like, and it was more of a business, like, you know, it was an actual business. I mean, it was just, but I was having customers, like relationships with people. I was doing like meetups, like, and I did that for about 2 years. And then Google kind of censored me again because I was very aggressive. And all these videos are still there. If anybody thinks I'm full of shit, just type in Ryan Magin fashion on YouTube and you'll see all these videos. The channel had close to 30,000 subscribers. At its peak, it was doing 500 to 1 million views a month. Like it was very, which for YouTube, like is no easy feat. And you know, but I started learning early on, like I had the capacity to get views, but like I didn't necessarily, I wasn't the greatest at getting followers, but I was really good at getting views. Which if you look at my TikTok account now, like I get way more views than I get followers. So it's like, I'm working on it, but like, to be honest, like it really doesn't matter to me too much. So it's just like, but with that, I kept making videos and then it got like Google kind of, they deemed my channel like high risk or like abusive language because I cuss in my videos and my titles were like, you'll see the titles of my videos, like the best shirts to wear to get laid. Like that was my title. Like, awesome. And like, I got a lot of views and, you know, so when that kind of, and at this point now I had gotten back together with my fiance and we were, you know, rekindling like, and you know, yeah, we were basically back together at this point, and like I had this product now because we were split up for about a year. So in that year, I went from kind of being a piece of shit to like building another like 6-figure business and like completely different. And I was like, man, this is a great story. But you know, and so I kind of got that realization, like, is this something I want to do forever? Like, I don't really want to teach guys how to dress better to get laid. And thankfully, like, you know, when you put shit out like that, the universe kind of speaks for you, if you will. And we found out we were pregnant with my daughter. And around the same time, Google was like, yeah, your channel is kind of high risk, so we're going to flatten your views. So I went from like, you know, to getting like 100,000 views a month. And I was like, so basically, and I was also signed to Menfluencer Media, which is Aaron Marino and Antonio Centeno, like their media company. So like I was getting very legit brand deals. Like I worked with Dollar Shave Club, Gillette. I did like a small thing for Adidas. Like it was like I was getting like, you know, back then I was like, I think I would get like the most I basically got $1,000 a video, like, which I was like, this is insane that I can get this. And you know, so I did, so like that I just kind of pushed that to the side when like Google censored it. And then I kind of turned my attention on Instagram, mainly because I wanted to reinvent myself. And that's I was like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm not going to delete that. I have to have those awkward conversations with my daughter at some point, but they're there, you know, it's part of me. And then it turned into Instagram, which I found it easy for me to make vertical videos. And I know it's just a matter of like, turning my camera to the side or using my phone, or like I love GoPros and GoPro photos and stuff. And so I started just posting GoPro photos. I started making little vlogs in my stories. Like that had really no, like I was never going to make money from them. It was just like I was creative and they were a way for me to, express that. And I saved up some money, like I was smart the second time around. And I was like, I don't have to like work for like a few months. So I could figure some shit out here. And, sure enough, like the same companies that dropped me because my views were tanking on YouTube through the agency were now like, yo, we really like your videos. Can you like come do some ads for us in that style? And I was like, all right, 5K. And they're like, sure. I'm like, okay. All right. So I started like, working, doing like ads. And then that morphed into like having a video production company where it was more centered around the Gary Vee style video with the progress bar. And like, like somebody like yourself would like film like 30 videos and then send them to me. And then I'd spin them back as fast as I could so you could post them on social. So I did that for like a year. And then that was right before lockdown. And when lockdown happened, all the clients, I had around 10 to 15 clients, and we'll say paying around $1,000, $2,000 a month. So it was like a $15,000 a month business. Like, and, I was kind of comfortable there. Like I wasn't, it was very easy for me to run. I had one person helping me. And then lockdown happened and all of the clients, not like almost like 95% of the clients canceled and asked me for a refund.
Dang.
After I had delivered majority of the work too, it was a really fucked up thing. Like I was, and I didn't know what to do. Cause like like I looked in my savings and I only had like $20,000, like, which like, at the time I was like, I have finally got some breathing room. Like I got a kid now. She's like 3. I'm like, I'm not a piece of shit anymore. Like a broke loser. Like I'm 38 years old. Like now I'm like, I kind of, maybe I got life a little figured out. And nope. I basically started refunding out one by one. And then I got to where like I had $5,000 left, like to my name. And and mind you, this is like shit's shut down now. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to make any money for like the next 3 months. Like, I don't know what, and I'm like, and I'll be honest, I got comfortable being broke. Like, I'm not scared of it. Like, cause I lost it and got it back to a degree. So I was like, but I'm like, I have to pay my bills. So like I calculated like rent and like and basically it's like 5 or 6K that was left in the account. I had to go to the bank, pull it out, put it in a safe, and basically let all the chargebacks hit. Because when I started telling people I can't refund you, I'm sorry. Like, so then they charged me back. And the thing about it is I knew I was going to win the chargebacks because I had a contract. And I did deliver on the work and I had proof of this. It was just them being an asshole and panicking because of what was going on in the world. And I was like, and I said that you could do this, or I'm just going to submit all my evidence to the banks and most likely I'll win. Like, but the whole process, when you do a chargeback, it's like, people don't understand, like, it's like a 6-month process. Like they take the money out of your account, then they get the evidence from them. And then you submit your evidence of like, I did this is what I delivered. You show proof. And then that's what it is. So, but I was like, shit, as soon as they charge me back, I'm going to be broke for like 6 months. So like, I had to get the money out of there. And then that's what I did. And then it was right at that time that I was like, I said, maybe like I tend to create myself out of depression. So like not like I'm like going to kill myself for depression, but like where I get down, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just make videos. And I was like, I'm going to start making TikToks. And I'm going to try to teach people, because at the time, nobody was teaching people on TikTok. It was all dances, and nobody was using professional cameras and good lighting and editing. So I was like, this is a way to stand out. Like, no. And I made it a point. I was like, I'm going to make the most overly edited, professional looking TikToks from day one. And that's what I did. And I made a video every single day for the first, I gave myself a 30-day trial. As I do a video a day for 30 days, see what happens. And like 10 videos in, I made like a lot of videos, a video about a ring light, and it got like 1 million views. And I was like, oh shit. All right. Like, that's dope. And then I made another video that got like 200,000 views. And then before I knew it, I had like 20,000 followers. So I was like, oh shit, I just like matched my YouTube, and I did it in like 2 months, and then it was still very early. And I was like, I hit up, being that I was in the YouTube and the affiliate game for a long time, I had a lot of friends. And so I just started hitting up my friends and like, hey, I know you don't care about TikTok at all, but let me grow you an account. Like, let me take your content and make you an account. And they're like, well, how do you, I don't want to pay for that. And I was like, well, I don't want you to pay for it. I just want rev share of anything that the account makes. And that's how I got my first 2 clients. And then it turned into, and both of those accounts went to 100K in around 90 days. Mind you, my account took almost a year and a half to get to 100K. But those, like, I got the athletic training accounts at Overtime Athletes. It's still, people can check it out. It's like, I'm still a partner on the account. He does have more internal team doing stuff now because my company has gotten a lot larger. But he's still one of my really good friends. And then the second one was a guy named Elliot Hulse, which the internet loves to hate Elliot Hulse.
Yeah, I know who he is.
I mean, he's very controversial. But we grew 3 accounts for Elliot Hulse to 100K because he kept getting, we get to 100K, you get banned. Been banned, and then finally we just kind of gave up. But I also grew, those 2 case studies led to Adley Stump. She has a TikTok called The Adley Show, as well as Facebook and everything else, and she's a viral Facebook creator. She was the first account that I took from 0 to 1 million. We did that around 6 or 7 months. I had some mega viral videos on her account. We did one that got 50 million in 48 hours. And then that led to Grant Cardone. And then I started doing Grant Cardone's account. We took him to 1 million in 6 months. And then that led to the Hormozis. And now I have a client roster of around 20 people, 13 employees, 8 full-time video editors, and $1 million company.
Dang. Yeah, that's a lot to unpack. But I was like taking mental notes and physical notes as you were going through and saying all that. So, and one thing I noticed through all of this, and you kind of led with it in the beginning about how you were very like risk tolerant and how you would rather go for the opportunity to bet on yourself. And so I actually saw one of your videos recently about how to structure video editing work with performance incentives. That is so like counterintuitive to how most people approach this kind of service. So, like, why did you have that mindset, and like, how did you bring it to a field where that's so not the norm?
Well, that comes from, like I said, with the selling, like sales. I was always in, like, I'm a big believer in, like, what's the term? It sounds cliche, but having skin in the game. And I like it from both parties. And I'm a big advocate for, and I hope people get this from my messages. Like, I consider myself an advocate for video editors because I truly believe video editors are wildly underpaid and they're treated like slaves, and they're not respected to the degree that they should be. Because yes, I understand that there's creators and there's faces, but without that person staying up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, making sure every piece of these videos is perfect to put it out, to get the views, to get the watch time, like, it's a 50-50 type of thing. And the creators know that, but I don't think the population, like regular people, know that. So it leaves video editors kind of like, you're just like this dude that sits in a dark room and like, you're like, have this boring job. And I was like, no, like, video editors are cool as fuck. And we do a lot of cool stuff. So like, I've always like that's my like mentality to video editors. And, I always wanted to make sure if I can leave any mark on TikTok, it's that I want video editors to get paid well. And that's why, like, I'm very vocal about like what to charge and how to charge. And because I think most video editors, quite frankly, charge like idiots. And the performance incentive, I just think it's like, I learned early on that it's like when you're doing creative work, it's like you can either charge a lot one time and they're probably not going to come back, or you can charge a little and they'll stay for a long time. But if you mix the two, in my opinion, that's where like the performance incentives came in. It's like, okay, let me get like the bare minimum, like, retainer, if you will, of like how I can make, like, if my bills are $3,000 a month, let me get one client that I make sure that I can make my bills. And then it's like, well, how do I make money off that? It's like, because you're breaking even. It's like, well, performance incentives. Like, and the thing about TikTok is, and Reels and Shorts, is like, the views are the only justification of a good video. And it's the easiest thing to track for most people too. And there's, I know you can fake shit on TikTok, like you can buy views and likes and comments, but like eventually you'll be exposed for that. So, but if you're actually doing good videos, it just sucks to not have that in place, because it's like the creator then takes all of the benefit and not the editor, so it's like, and no matter what, if you're an editor, the creator will always take the benefit, like, because it's their face and you have to respect them for that. Like, there has to be a mutual level of respect. Like, you wouldn't have shit to edit if they didn't have that face, so
harmonious.
So, but if the creator gets 1 million views, that's a fucking big deal. And it's like, why not throw a kickback to the editor for helping those 1 million views? Because if that creator had to buy ads, it would cost them
expensive.
thousands to get those views. So like with that mindset, and that just comes because I've run ads and I've, you know, I know what that's like. So I'm like, you know, like, let me just negotiate a performance incentive that makes sense. That isn't like, you know, if you get 1 million views, it's like you pay me 10 grand. It's like, no, it's like if I get 1 million views, throw me, you know, 150 bucks. And then if I'm a good video editor, like many of the clients we work with, we do upwards 3, sometimes 10 million view videos a month. So it's like you start doing the math, it's an extra 1,000, 1,500, you know, on top of like a high retainer, because you can start raising your retainer if your videos get views, you know, so, and you're good at what you do. So that's kind of where that came in. It was just more, and then the creator's more invested because, you know, one, they know that like they're like my editor's invested because he's incentivized by the views. So I need to make sure that I get my editor the best stuff. And like, I'm working with the editor harmoniously and vice versa. Now the editor's like, well, it's not just a video to me. It's like every single video that I make has the opportunity to make more money.
100%.
You know, and
yes,
that's, and I,
motivated.
yeah, and I run that across my whole company with all my video editors. I mean, not every client I have performance incentives with. I mean, because I'm charging, like I charge premium now. But for all of my editors that work for me,
Work it in.
Yeah, there's a bonus for every single, for view milestones for every single client that we operate with.
Amazing.
So
that's awesome, dude. And so you say a bunch of times, I've heard you say it here and then in your content too, like a good editor. And so the metric you're saying is like good at getting views. So how do you spot or train an editor to become good at getting views? Because I've hired a bunch of editors and that's something that's really, really hard to transfer that to someone else. So how have you achieved that?
I don't know that I've achieved it 100%. I'm very lucky. I have a really good team, and it's taken me, I mean, that's the thing. Like I've been doing this now for almost 2 years. Like an agency per se, focused on short form. Like, and I got very, I'm not gonna say lucky. Like I chose 2 people at the beginning very wisely. One was Luis. He's probably will come in halfway through this interview because he's coming to the office. He was a marketer. He was in a few masterminds. I had met him. And he was a creator himself. Like he was a fitness guy, but he wasn't really breaking through, but I don't necessarily think it was because of his content. It was more, I don't know. I think maybe his personality didn't gravitate to be able to go viral or whatnot. And I just kind of went to him. I was like, yo, I got this idea. I think you can help me with it if you want to. And I'm also big on character. And when I first hired Luis, I could only pay him $500 a month. I said, I can pay you $500 a month. And this is what I kind of expect for that 500. But if this is where I see this going in the next 2 to 5 years, if you see that vision, like, then, like, I want you to come on and I want to give you a % of the company, like, and thankfully for me, he said yes. And he drove his electric car from San Diego, California, all the way to Florida and moved here for $500 a month. And he's been my left hand ever since. And then I have another, he's paid very well now. He's not making $500 a month anymore.
Yeah, no, I figured.
And another girl, her name's Savannah. She had done a lot of work with me when I had my fashion channel. I met her at a local coffee shop. That's why I'm big on coffee shops. A lot of my content is like about tipping and going to coffee shops. I actually live this. Like, despite what the comments think, like, I was a good tipper at one of my local coffee shops, and the girl that worked there knew what I did, and she was like, "He's a nice guy." He's like, "Hey, have you met Savannah? Savannah makes YouTube videos like yourself." And I was like, "No, I haven't." So next time I was there and Savannah came in, and like she introduced us. I looked at Savannah's content and I was like, man, like I really like your edits have that. And this is like before TikTok, like it wasn't a thing yet. I was like, your edits have that useful feel that I knew like I wanted. Like, not saying that I couldn't get that myself, but I was like, I feel like this, and it was Emma Chamberlain specifically. If you follow Emma Chamberlain, the way she was editing, like, one, I knew how long it took because I was an editor, and I was like, shit, I don't know if I want to spend that much time doing this, but I'm at a point where I can pay like $1,000 a month to get this done. So that's where I asked Savannah, and she had like 15,000 YouTube subscribers because she was a daily vlogger. But I asked her, I was like, well, do you want to, like, where her head's at? And she was like, I just, my parents are, telling me I need to get a job, and like, I only really want to make videos. And I was like, well, I don't want you to stop making your own videos, but I'll pay you this to come work for me and make videos. And she was like, absolutely. And then like we worked together for about 2 years, and then it got like when when things kind of fell apart, I had to like let her go. But I actually got her. She actually went to work for Ty Lopez, like friend of a friend who worked with Ty Lopez. So she was doing a lot of ads and things. And Luis was trained. The masterminds I met him through was Jason Capitals, which is heavy marketing. So both of them, not only could they edit videos, but they were also marketers.
That's helpful.
So that, I mean, with those two, I was able to start the company and take it to, we went, because basically how I ran it at first was like, this is where I laugh at the video editors. I'm like, you guys don't know what like heavy editing actually is. Like me, Luis, and Savannah were editing 3 to 5 videos a day, 7 days a week for every client. And we were posting and managing the accounts.
That's a lot of work.
So it was like, and that's why, people are like, why do you use ScreenFlow? It's because it's fast. And when I was using Premiere Pro, it was slow because the Premiere Pro would crash, and it like, so that's why like everything that I do is kind of optimized for the efficiency aspect of higher output. And, that's why, I know that like you gotta have a good Mac, like 16 gigs is faster than 8 gigs. So it's like, I can't have my computer, because if your computer crashes, like when you're making 5 videos a day and you're averaging an hour to an hour and a half per video, if it takes you 10 to 20 minutes to start, reboot up, get your projects going again over the course of 3 or 4 videos, that's an extra 2 hours to your day. And you're like, your day's fun, so it's like all those little things that like people don't see that. They don't know that like that's going, so like that was kind of the mindset. And then it just got like the 3 of us, and I was just like paying per client. So like you manage this client. So like if I charge the client this, you make this much, I make this much, you make this. So like I was trying to be as fair as I could, divvying it all up. And, it got to the point like we were all 3 of us like just dying because we were editing so many videos and like, and then it just got like every client, because we were like the only people doing it. And I this is a testament to like networking. Like I'm a big believer in just like I make videos about like paying for friends. Like paying for friends has got me, like Michael Sanchez runs the group on Facebook, TikTok Marketing Secrets. If I didn't buy 3 coaching calls from him, and this is like where I love going over the top on like stupid things, if you will. Like he was doing like he was offering $100 coaching calls in his Facebook group, and I was like, all right, I want, I don't know that I necessarily need coaching help, but like I want to be friends with him, so I want him in my associates, so I was like, let me buy 5 calls. So I spent 5. So I bought him one by one, back to back. So like when so he saw my name 5 times, and it was like $100 each time. And then we got on the calls, and I was working on a lot of accounts. So I was asking him tips on accounts, and he's like, so you have like an agency, you're doing this full service? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I think I'm the only one. He's like, no, you are the only one, because like I would know. And he's like, he just like valued, like I gave a lot of value. Like I really took it more as like, let me just pay to give you information and kind of like just become friends. And sure enough, like 1 month later, I get a text from him, and he's like, hey, do you have room for a client? And I was like, yeah. I was like, there's always room for a client. Who is it? And he's like, Grant Cardone. And I was like, well, there's always room for Grant Cardone. So, and yeah, so it was that 500 that turned into Grant Cardone, which, I mean, I don't want to say what he's paying now, but at the time it was a $3,000 a month. Like good
investment.
Yeah. And, so, but now it's much more than that. But then that was it. And then it was like, we got Cardone, and like we just made it, me and Luis kind of tag team the account, made it our mission to get him 1 million followers as fast as possible. And then like it was like a snowball effect for bigger clients and big clients in general. And but it was mainly just because we got results. Like we got them, like every account, like we've grown 15 accounts to 100K and 5 to 1 million. Like, and so that's and I consider now like we're posting, it changes, but we're doing roughly, is it 20 clients to 3 platforms. So we post 60 videos a day, short form, all manual. I have 6 iPhones here in the office. Like no automation. It's Luis does all the posting, manages the accounts. Like, it's just turned into this crazy thing. Like, and that, but that was like to back on the editor ton. I know I got a little tangent there, but I think that there's video editors that are really good, and then there's marketers and people that know how to get attention, and specifically copywriters. Like if you know how to write words that sell and you happen to be able to make videos, like that's where like Savannah and Luis.
Sweet spot.
Yeah. Which is very rare. Which is why, like, now that I make videos, like I try to teach psychology, like why things do and why they work, because that's basically copywriting and marketing is psychology.
Absolutely.
It's like, and it's hard because like the editors like come from the perspective, I'm going to take this footage and I'm going to make the coolest looking thing that I can. And they oftentimes do. Like, and it's, sometimes they don't, but the coolest thing is not what goes viral, and TikTok's proven that time and time again. Like good videos flop all the time, myself included, so and that's where like, so now, I mean, it's most of like the editor training that I do for my new editors. I basically look for somebody that can edit okay. Like, yeah, you can edit. Like, I get it. Anybody, and this, the irony of like the subtitles, I'm like, anybody can subtitle like this. It just takes a little bit of time. It's not hard, but like you said, I think it takes much more than that to go viral. So I just kind of like, I try to focus on like, all right, guys, if you work for me and I'm paying you $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month to edit, which is like on the premium end of editors, because I value creativity and I value editors, I'm like, you are not subtitlers. Like, you architect viral videos. Like, that is your job. Like, I want them to have that mindset. Like, I am not a video editor. I get views. Like, and it's kind of and that's even my mindset. Like, I don't make videos. I make videos that get views. Like, and that's, and I mean, it's quite narcissistic, and I totally understand people probably be like, this fucking guy is like weird, but it's like, it's a competitive aspect of it. I want you to, like, when I get a video, like if I spend 2 hours making a video, filming and editing, and I post it, like the one right now, like there's one, it's like 2,000 views on my account, posted last night. I'm like, it pisses me off. I'm like, what am I making today that's going to beat that? Like, so, and that's just kind of how it's not healthy for mental health, if you will, for the company. And I'm trying to navigate that, because I understand that I'm like a total psychopath when it comes to like the amount that I'll edit until like I can't, my eyes are hurting. And like, same with Luis and Savannah, they share that. Like I found like-minded people. But not all my editors are like that. And that does not mean that they're not great editors and good at what they do. It's just, they don't have that. So it's been hard to kind of dial back the expectations versus output. Cause I mean, the pressures of like, when your company, which mine is known, for getting views, like the expectations of somebody like, Hormozi or Cardone, to like, when I get a text from them, I'm like the first thing I do is look at the account. Like, what are the views? Like, or, so it's like, and I mean, like I watch a lot of the videos, like I watch the views every morning. Like I'm looking at every video the company puts out. We have like a crazy quality control. Like Savannah does all quality control. So she's edited, hundreds of viral videos herself. So now she can spit them back if like, hey, we need to change this or do this, and that's kind of, it's morphed into that. Like, but it's just, training the editors is like, it's incredibly difficult, because everybody sees the subtitles and they're like, I can edit like Ryan, or like, I mean, there's literally Fiverr ads like to do video, like for $5, I'll edit a video like Ryan Magin, Alex Hormozi, Grant Cardone. And I'm like, first off, that's awesome that you're associating my name with all those other names. But like this, I'm like, if you could, then you wouldn't be doing it for Fiverr.
Yeah. That's true too.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, it's just like, I think it's more training on the psychology and not the editing. Like, and if video editors are watching this or creators are watching this, you're better off spending your time reading books like Cialdini's Influence and Robert Greene's Mastery and like things like that than you are learning how to edit better, because the TikTok has leveled the playing field as far as like good editors you don't just get views because you have like a cool video. You
No.
like, and that's kind of, you know, I think where there's that gap. And I mean, hopefully I'm helping to close that gap, because like I pride myself in, I don't make an editing video unless there's like a psychology based aspect around it. Like, you know, I'm not just gonna be like making jump cut videos without telling you why you're specifically doing that, you know? So it's, you know, which is probably why those videos, when I do them, they get viewed, but I don't have very many of those in me. So it's like, that's, you know, which I'm sure you face that a lot too. It's like, I mean, how many times can I tell people that they need to, you know, make jump cuts and take out all the dead space? And it's like, and then there's 97 other creators that are just going through my profile and copying my high view videos and making the same videos. And I'm just like, like it's redundant.
Nature of the beast. Yeah, 100%. And so when you're developing these new editors, so you say you look for character and you look for a basic ability, and then you try to shape the mind for it after the fact. Do you do that from, like, do you have education for your internal team, or is it more from your quality control person saying like these little tweaks over time and that shapes their brain? Like, how do you foster that?
I mean, again, it's a constant like shift of like what we're trying to do. And right now, I mean, if you follow, like, I have the paid to edit campaign going right now, which is, that is my way of, and I mean, I'll be transparent, like it's getting me a lot of videos and exposure by doing it. But I'm also paying good money to editors that are getting those views. So it's like, it's a trade-off. It's like, if you get me views, I pay you. Like, and what I'm doing there is, I mean, I'm pretty much looking at every video, like whenever they tag me, I do my best to look at everything that's being posted. And that's kind of, but I'm not really giving a whole lot of direction. Like, and that's on purpose, because I want to see what you create on your own. Like, I don't want to, like, and that, I think that is, if it looks too identical to mine right off the bat, it's like he didn't put any creativity into this. So there's no, it doesn't say you, it just says me. And like, I know people, and I know people are like, well, I'm trying to make them look like yours. It's like, I understand that, but I specifically say, you don't have to subtitle, use your creativity, make these what you want. You have my full control, go get it, you know? And then, so now it's like, and that's kind of what I did with when I was hiring the 7 other editors that I have right now, was I would just send them a 4-minute raw file of me talking and just see what they send back, like with absolutely no direction whatsoever.
That's awesome.
And I got some cringe stuff and I've gotten some good stuff. And that's kind of like, and I try to look for something in the middle, you know, like, okay, like they clearly, but what I'm looking for is, what hook did you pick? Like, if I send you 4 minutes of me talking, what did you use in that first 3 seconds? If I feel like that is good, I'm probably going to hire you on the spot. Like, I don't care about the subtitles. I don't care, but it's like, if you know the one sentence that I said that would get attention in this, and you found that and you put it to the front, you're a marketer, you understand attention, I want to hire you. And most editors, their hooks are weak. Like,
it's very true. I've hired a bunch of editors in my time, and that's one of the hardest things to do, is to find someone who gets that stuff, because you can have all the raw editing ability in the world and know how to make every hypothetical thing happen, but that means less and less over time as things evolve and as things change. And like you said, TikTok has kind of leveled the whole playing field with making that happen. But so with TikTok in general, like, why did you feel confident to go this hard into short form? Like, what was it in you? Like, obviously the views are fantastic, but to mortgage your whole future on like short form video, like, what was it? There had to be more than views that made you feel that convicted.
Yeah, well, there's a couple key moments. First one being when Trump said he was going to ban it. Now I'm not trying to make this political at all, but like, one, I was like, I know you say some outlandish shit, Donald, but like, I just knew at that moment that it was threatening things, like, as far as, and I was like, and when he said that, it wasn't like, I was like, well, first off, even if you did delete the app, everybody right now at this very moment is rushing to the app to download it because they want to make sure they have it before they can't get it anymore. So I was like, the user base right now is about to explode. That was like thought one. Second was, I didn't want to be late to TikTok. And when I say that is because although I did have pretty good success with YouTube, I was late. I was about 2 years late. I just, for whatever reason. And then Instagram, I was about a year and a half late. And when I say late, it's like, and you've experienced this, like if you can start a platform and you can get to 100,000 followers before everybody else,
it's huge.
You have a competitive advantage. And I said TikTok was the first platform, and I was like, I have the amount of content in my head that can get me to 100,000 followers. I have the skill sets and the speed that can get me to 100,000 followers. And I have the time on the platform that can get me to 100,000 followers. So that was like the second thing. And then the third thing was, like I said, I'm really good friends with Jason Capital. And he called me one day and he's like, you should go all in on TikTok. And he said, you have like, everything you're doing is unique. Nobody's seeing it. This is the platform. Even if it shuts down tomorrow, the next platform, you'll be fine. Like, like, so it was like, that was like the little extra, and all of that happened in like a 3-day time span, wow. You know? And he didn't like, I didn't call him for that advice either. He just texted me literally out of the blue, go all in on TikTok. Cause he was doing it. And he was he was doing like 10 videos a day. And he's like, this is the most insane shit I've ever seen. Like, you know, and
you know what's funny, just to cut you out there, sorry, real quick, is that you'll like this, is that, so like some of his early videos, actually, I was working with a brand, and we used to like send his videos back and forth as like inspiration to our editors for future edits. Was that were you working with him then?
No, like everybody confuses us. Like I am good, like we talk all the time. So we are really good friends. He texts me, how did you do this on a video? And I tell him. Okay. And his editor, his main editor, well, actually, one of his editors like works for me now, because he, and that's another. How'd you find another editor? Well, I'm like, if you work for Jason Capital for a year, you probably understand marketing, so you're a good hire. His name's Raphael. He's great. He's one of my best. He's a really good editor. But you know, we just talk all the time, and like I'm in a group text with him and his video editor. So like his video editor, whenever I make a training for my team, I just send it to his team. Like, I'm like, yeah, if you want this, cool. And like, yeah, so like that's, and we were just friends. So we also think a lot on the same wavelengths when it comes to content in general.
For sure.
And yeah, so like that was really, you know, but he had his distinct fonts, and then I kind of like the bold font. Like I found that font, like, which is so.
Can you walk through that whole story? Can you share that?
So the subtitles that everybody copies, or everybody that are the platform, basically, I never set out for that to happen. That wasn't like I'm going to leave my mark with these subtitles. Like I was making videos when I started, when I was doing the one video a day, when I was on lockdown. And I didn't have a lot of time. Like I had like 1 hour a day where my daughter would leave me alone, like to where I could film a video and edit a video. And, you know, and I say that like, I love my kid, but I was just like, I need time to do this. I need focus. And it was like, I knew I had like, I forget this show. It was actually Coco Melon, which is, I made videos about Coco Melon before. Like she would watch like 2 episodes. She would watch like a few shows and she would leave me alone. And I was like, all right, you know, and I didn't subtitle. I knew I should at first, because we were doing that with the Instagram videos and Gary Vee was doing it. I was like, it was the norm on Instagram, but I was like, well, people are on TikTok. Like they have their volume on. It's a video-based app. I don't need subtitles. I can save the time there. And so I just started making really good videos without subtitles. And about 2 months in, I made a video and it got a lot of views. And I was starting to get comments on like my videos, like, you should subtitle, please subtitle these. And like, and I'm in my head, I'm like, it's fucking an hour more of work. Like, God, you guys are like so selfish. Like these videos are already taking me an hour to make. And like, so like, I kind of popped off one day in the comment section because I was like frustrated. And turns out the person that I was popping off to was deaf. And I didn't like, I was a dick. And I was just like, you know, but I said one line and like, I completely regret saying it, but it's why there's subtitles. Because I didn't realize they were hard of hearing or deaf. And like, I was like, they're like, you know, people are deaf. And I was like, they have apps for that. And I wrote that comment. It was like, I feel like a beacon went out to the deaf community on TikTok, and I got destroyed in the comments about like being ignorant to deaf to hard of hearing. And like, and I'm not, like, I was just like, man, but I think it hurt the most because I knew it was true. Like, it was like, I knew I needed to put subtitles on there, and like, I knew they were right. And not only that, I also, like, I didn't mean to make them feel like, I didn't mean to insult anybody, especially hard of hearing. And I was like, so out of spite, again, I'm like, I was like, I'm going to make the most obnoxious subtitles And then the next, and you can see it. It's I believe it was July of 2020. I posted the first video with big bold subtitles, and it took me an hour on top of my video. Like, and I was like, and I'm like, the next day I'm like, it took me an hour and a half. I'm like, as like going to town, and sure enough, after like 5 to 7 videos, all of a sudden my views are up because watch time was increasing, and I was like,
they were right.
I was like, damn it, it's like they didn't know about the water, but they're like, it is easier to read. And then that's where the copywriting came in, because I am a marketer. I was like, I can use the subtitles to actually draw attention to things that I want people to remember and make the videos more digestible and overall make them better. And then I've just evolved the subtitles over time, but I couldn't find a good font when I started. And I was like, and I literally, I don't know, I just Googled bold font and the bold font came up, which is why I was awesome. And it was free. I was like, awesome. It's defont.com is free. I downloaded it and then I put it up, and that's what I started using. I used it in all my videos. And then, we got Grant Cardone, we got Alex Hormozi, and like I started using all their videos, and I was just like, next thing you know, now it's, but it never occurred to me. I'm like, why can't I literally just Googled bold font and it came up or maybe free bold font or something like, and that was like, and now it's like everywhere. And it's just like, it's what everybody, it's like, I want these captions, I want this and I want that. And, but I mean, I'm very particular about, like, I can tell when a video is done by my team versus somebody else's. And that comes from like, I'm big on like the little details, the stuff that like
the extra stuff.
Yeah. Just makes the video easier to watch. And I think that like, there's a hard balance because you have to have a high capacity for output, especially like when you're creating a lot and editing a lot of videos. So like, you gotta kind of let some of the quality go to be able to keep up with the output. But like, I'm super big on like colors. Like, we only use yellow and green because it's easy. It's the easiest to read. And we only use, this is another hack why I love ScreenFlow over Premiere. ScreenFlow is a Mac-based program. So all the colors that are already preloaded in the ScreenFlow are all Mac-based colors, Apple colors. Same thing with the emojis. The Apple emojis, there's a shortcut for them in ScreenFlow. They're in there. So I don't have to add an emoji pack. And like, again, efficient, faster. And I wouldn't know this because this is like, it's like, I like Apple emojis because I'm an Apple guy. So like, let's do this. So like, there's so like, if I see emojis and they're not Apple emojis, I'm like, because like, let's face it, whether you like Android or not, Apple owns the world. So like, I want it to be relatable. And then it was like, we do like specific, like 10%, 100% opacity, 10% stroke, 10%, so they're really bold and vibrant. And then we do like this other hack where we copy it and we make them really bold. So like, they're very vibrant. And so like, when I see, and like, I don't know how to do that hack in Premiere. I just know how to do it in ScreenFlow. And it's like, I just copied the layers. Like, so it's like, it's just funny to me when I see all these, I'm like, and then like the TikTok safe space. So like, they're not overflowing like that. It's like nails on a chalkboard for my eyes when I see that. Like,
see it going over it.
Yeah, like, and I was just like, and then it was like the precision on the jump cuts. Like, do the subtitles match? Like, I will literally move a subtitle in the frame around to make sure it's exact on the words. Like, and so it's like, I know, like, when I see a $10 edit, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's a $5 edit, or like, and even say like, we work with a lot of creative teams now. A lot of the creators like are big, like they have more editors other than me and my team. They're putting out lots of content, and like, I still have this internal battle with like, my brand is associated with those videos, and that guy just fucked that video all up. Like, so it's like, but it's learning that too. And like, and then the training aspect, it's like the only thing stopping me from growing my company right now bigger, so like a $2, $3, $4 to $5 million company, is my ability to train editors and
transfer the knowledge.
Yeah. And that's been a hard shift for me to make, and a hard, just because I don't know how to, like, I just look at it, I'm like, why didn't you know that?
I know that's one of the hardest things as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And so it's like, I've been working on that. That's where like the pay to edit, like, so, I mean, eventually like that's going to turn into like, right now I'm just paying based on views. I don't care what the videos look like. Like, I just want to see people, and also like, I want people to get wins. Like, cause it's like, if you're an editor and you've never edited a video that got 1 million views, like, it changes you.
Confidence building.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's like, and I know that, you know, regardless of some of the content I put, like people like don't necessarily like or they think it's cringy, I'm like, I know it gets views. Like it does. Like, you know, so and an editor, like you got fair game. Like it's me taking the hate, not you. Like,
yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of, and I'm going to start a like where I'm trying to build a Discord right now. Like, and this is like me being 39. I'm like, God, Discord's like complicated as fuck, man. I'm like, I got to pay somebody to do this because I don't know how to do it. So it's like we're building a Discord, and I basically want to give, you know, all of my editing trainings, like everything is going to be given away for free, even when I do my teams inside the Discord, because I'm gonna, I mean, transparency, I'm gonna start like a mastermind where like we do live events, like it's all gonna be geared around the short form content, you know, and like I want to hopefully make it to where there's like equal amount creators, equal amount freelance video editors, and if you come to my events, you get jobs and you get, like, you know, so it's like, yeah, and I just overall like I've seen so many crappy versions of my subtitles. I'm like, I just need to train the world. Like at least if you're gonna copy, please do it better.
Do it right. Yeah. I was like, kudos to you. Like, obviously, that's got to be a massive compliment that everyone's copying you. But specifically, I've had 4 people reach out to me via Instagram and send me videos from your team, being like, "We edit videos like this. Do you want us to work with you?" And I know it's not you guys. So like, first of all, I already have my own team. But second of all, I'm like, you're just ripping off. Like, that's not even your work. Like, that's crazy that they're sending somebody else's video as the proof of their work.
Oh, I have people now. I mean, it's gotten even, and this, I don't know how to handle this. This is like this. Like, I guess I'm trying to do it, handle it, because like of course I get angry and I'm like, you know. But I mean, the one thing was that got me is I've had like, because we used to do and this is where you have to get corporate, like, and it sucks because I'm like not a corporate guy, like, you know, but I have like the people that edit, like if I have to make you sign an NDA before I send you my training, like. And like, I think it sucks. Like, I'm like, I don't, but the reason I have to do that is because I literally had 2 different instances where somebody like reached out via, like I did the call on Instagram, hiring an editor, send me your info. And then all I did was send them a raw file and then 1 training video. Like, and the training video was basically how to do my subtitles. Like, and it's made by Savannah and it's her voice and then she's a girl. Like, so I come to find out like a few months later, somebody's running like a large amount of ads saying that they do, you know, specifically it was the Hormozis. They do, you know, and in the sales copy it said, I work closely with the team that runs the video, like that does Alex's and Layla's content. And like he specifically said her. And I was like, what? And I was like, so I'm like, you know, and this is like, you know, and you start making money, like it's tough because you know, you have to like think about shit that I'm like, is my girl, like Savannah, she's worked with me for years. Like she's like a little sister to me. Is she doing shit behind my back? Like, is she? Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is that. So digging deeper into it, he watched the training video and he said that he's getting coaching from her. Like, I'm like, so now my coaching videos are being used to get clients. And then it's like, I'm just like, and then I also have people now that like come in that work for me for a month just to say that they worked with me. Like,
and then they go do their own thing.
And I'm like, you know, so like I'm pretty like clear. Like when I hire editors now, like I do my best. It's like, look, I understand like everybody has ambitions to be rich and make a lot of money. I'm like, but you know, editing for me and like where I'm going, like you have the opportunity to make 6 figures. Like that's like, you know, and I want, like, if I can get all my editors to that, I think I'm doing a really good service to society, you know? Absolutely. But like they start at like $4,000 a month, which is on the high end for editors. Like, absolutely, and to make that, like you're editing 4 videos a day, which if you're good, it's like 4 to 5 hours of work, Monday through Friday. That's like a part-time job to me. Like, I'm like, if you're good, you know, they don't normally start there. It takes a little bit to get that good. And, you know, but like, I tell them, it's like, if you want to edit, if you want to, like, I'm going to pay every 1st and 15th. This isn't a typical freelance job. I have clients. I have the income. The company, like, I will you will get paid on the 1st and 15th. So if you want that security, like, and you like, I don't want you to come in and quit in 5 months or 3 months. Like, so this is where you can get paid. I don't care what you do on the side. Like, you will sign, like,
getting it done.
Yeah, and I do have to have them sign a NDA non-compete, just because I'm like, you can't start an agency on the side and use, because I've had people try that. I'm like, so it's just like, as you grow, it's like these like corporate things and structures have to come in, and it's like soul sucking, because it's just like I'm a really like chill person. Like, I mean, people reach out to me all the time, and I just hop on phone calls for like an hour, and like my ops guy is like, you probably shouldn't do that. You just like, I'm like, I like to do. I just talk to people and help, and like, so it's been interesting to like, and then just the amount of hate and shit you get on TikTok is just like absurd, So
yeah, it is crazy. I've been having a lot of those problems too, because like my business has been scaling over the past few years. So it's like you start to see problems that you didn't even know were problems, or that you thought would never be the case. And yeah, TikTok, it's true. It's once a video reaches a certain tipping point, then you really get to see people's true colors, because you get the masses in there. And I always try to reply to really messed up comments, because they're usually surprised that I saw it and then I replied. And I'd say it's probably like 40% of the time they're like, "Oh, my bad, I didn't think you'd see this." You know what I mean? It's like, why'd you say it then?
But why would you even post it? Yeah, I do. This is the irony. Like, so like one of my like my most engaging Instagram stories, and I say engaging as in like I'll get like 30 to 40 DMs like every time I post, is when I take the most obnoxious comments that I get, and I just repost them in my story, and I say something witty.
Yeah.
If I do that, I will literally get the most amount of views I'll get triple the story views on my Instagram, and more people DMing me saying like, oh, like, and I'm just like, I tell them like, this doesn't affect me. It's like, this is just like, it's a strategy. It's just like my engagement, like Instagram engagement's down. Let's find an obnoxious TikTok comment. But I've also tested, like, if I get angry back, and like, if I say something that's kind of dickish back, it doesn't get the engagement. It doesn't get as many response. I have to say something lighthearted and witty. Like, it's so like, and that's like where my mindset goes. It's like, how do I, because it's like manipulating, and it's like, but it's like, that's what you got to do. So it's like the Kardashian effect, it's like saying shit like to get views, and like you have to do it. Like you got to keep your account engaged. Like, it's like, it's annoying, but it's like part of the job. And it's just like, but I never understand, like, and that's where it gets with like the subtitles too. Like, there's so many out there that nobody knows. I was like, you made that video about me, and I was like, this is so great. I was so glad it hit 100K too. I was like, please go to 1 million. Please go to 1 million. Because like, I can't make that video, because then like all the comments are gonna be like, well, who the fuck are you? Like this and that. And it's just like, I was like, somebody else did, and it was a great fucking video. It's edited good. I was like, oh, thank God.
I appreciate that.
So I was just like, because it's just, I'm like, all this everything is like free, and that's why like it's hard for me to understand the TikTok culture, even though like everything, like I don't use premium fonts. They're all free. I don't use like, I use the most basic editing software. ScreenFlow is $149. Like, it's not hard to learn. Like most of my editors basically switched to it from Premiere Pro after working for me, because they're like, you're right, Ryan, it is faster. Like, so it's, but it's like, it's just fascinating, the level of like slowness or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't want to offend the whole platform, but it's like, I just feel like they're stupid. I'm like, just how do you not know that you can go to YouTube and type in exactly how to do this? Like, so it just fascinates me, like the level of incompetence on the app, and then the anger of like that they, and how much like that you have to do to like not just get their trust. Like, it's not even, like I get like what course are you selling? It's like, I haven't sold a course. I don't have a course. Like,
I get that so much too. And it's like, and I plan to sell it in products, but I never have to this point, and they're just so skeptical. But you got to think logically, like as someone who is a relatively happy person and like focused on things, I've never once left a comment like that. So you have to think about the kind of person who is.
Yeah, I always leave comments. Great video. Like that's what I did on yours. I'm like, dude,
exactly.
I didn't want to say thank you for saying what I've wanted to say for like a year, and somebody like, because Luis, this guy, like we talk about, I'm like, should I make a subtitle video, like just start to finish? And we're like, I'm like, if it doesn't go viral, then it's like, it's not then I'm just like another subtitle video. So it's like the pressures of it, like it has to go viral. And I'm like, it probably won't go viral if we're coming at it like with that type of mindset. So. but yeah, it's super interesting. Like and I'm like, what's the matter with courses? Like I've bought so many courses. Like I
So have
like
I.
courses. Like I like Kindle books. I like it's a course. Like it's just
Yeah, no, it just doesn't make sense. Like I feel like people who are saying that they're bitter about other things, so they like to take it out. They think it's low hanging fruit, so they do that. And Mike Rama is a buddy of mine who I'm sure you've
Yeah,
probably
I've
heard
seen
of.
I've seen him stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, how he handles hate comments or stuff like that is something that I think is genius. He'll pin their hate comment to the top, and then
Oh,
his
that
own
is smart.
community will like backlash at that person.
That's actually really good. Like I like that. Like the
Yeah, I loved that.
I'm gonna try that. That's good because I always just highlight, and I love not blurring out their name either. Like
Yes.
when
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh, you want to be a jerk? Cool, you're on
Yeah.
blast, and they're like,
Own
what
it.
you? And then they'll get mad at me. They're like, I can't believe you would do that. It's like, you're in my domain now. You're on my page.
Yeah,
Like,
you came to a public platform and you were a dick. Like
yeah,
this is
like,
what happens.
and then but it is interesting. It's like because you end up having conversations with them at some point, and it's just like they're not. It's just they're like I was having a bad. I've had people like I was having a really bad day that day, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
dude, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, like do you want me to send you a happier video? Like, I mean, like how do like you shouldn't be like I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make your day, but whereas I'm just making videos. Like, so
No.
it just fascinates me. Like
I've had the same experience where they do the same sort of thing and then it'll say, "Oh, I was having a bad day," or "I didn't think you'd see this." And I've never understood that because if I'm having a bad day, I try to like throw out as much positivity, hoping I'll get some back. So it's like I
yeah.
don't get how they think that being a dick is gonna save their day.
Well, it's
I
also
don't
like
get it. I'll never get it.
like because I mean, because you make videos that get views, like you have to trigger people. And like
Yes.
that's where the psychology comes in. It's just like, and I know like some of the stuff I say, I get it. It's like it's not untrue, but it's obnoxious. Like I understand
Yeah.
that like if I tell you to tip $100 at a coffee shop, that most people can't do that. Like, and
Yes.
I couldn't do that for a long time. But I also know that the second I say that, it's just like the
It's gonna
comments
get
are going to
triggered.
happen, and then it takes that to get the video to get pushed, to get enough views, to get the actual message across, which is if you tip well, they remember you to get introduced to people, to then like things happen. So it's like
Yeah.
you have to do something to trigger like something, and like that's like Luis, he always jokes that like one of my I guess superpowers is not like is just that I have a wild like I'm wildly like wild conviction and confidence in what I say, even if I think it's like it's wrong. Like I
Yeah.
just say it, and I was like, and but I mean, 99.999% of the time on TikTok, it's right. But it's like sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, I think this is right. Like,
Yeah.
and I've tried to research to be like to prove myself wrong, but like, yeah, let's say it, like so it's like I
Awesome.
think people like the confidence and the conviction, like it triggers people too, and like and
True.
being good on camera and having I mean just people just tend to like react, they're jealous, like I mean that's why like I'm not big on flexing, like I know because there's like cause I come from the culture like with Ty Lopez was like that's like the shit that like here in my garage, like there's no doubt like Ty did a lot of dumb like retarded stuff, but like the more he flashed girls in cars, like the more views he
It
got.
worked.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like having that mindset. It's just like, on TikTok, they kind of resist the flexing, if you will. Like,
Yes.
and it's more like now it's like we joke, we're like everybody on TikTok's a Mother Teresa. Like but they're the angriest Mother Teresas you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
That's
so
such a good point.
like so it's like you have to frame things in, like that way. It's like you can flex, but not flex.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, this is my studio. It's expensive. I got a lot of stuff that most people probably can't afford.
Yeah.
Oh, how's he got that? They're not going to think that. They're just gonna be like, oh, it's cool that he lets people come film for free inside of his studio every once in a while. Like it's like
Yeah.
shit like that. It's like this is finding that like walking that line of like I have to say stuff to get attention. I have to show things to get attention, but it's like I also don't want to get taken out of context, and I also just don't want to get destroyed in the comments because like I don't know if
It's
that's happened to you. Like if you like I had a video go viral, like it's a video about Chipotle, and I didn't
I love Chipotle.
it, I everyone loves Chipotle. It's like it's a view hack. If you talk about Chipotle, you will get views. Like
So what happened?
I was trying to make the argument that like it's cheaper to eat Chipotle every day than go grocery shopping.
I saw
Uh,
that one.
yeah, and in my head, That made perfect sense. But in the editor's head, that my editor that edited that video, she used the wrong screenshot. And the screenshot that she posted, and I joke with her about this all the time. She's really good. I was like, did you have to use the one that said the groceries for a family of 4? Like, because it just, the comments lit me up. And I live by a rule, like, and it could be healthy. I don't delete anything. Yeah. Like especially it's like, because I still believe in that message. It is cheaper and more convenient for me to go to Chipotle, which is 5 minutes away from my studio right now, than it is for me to get groceries and cook. And I don't want to do it. And, but all the comments were like, a lot of them were correct. Like it's not cheaper if you have a family of 4, but it went on for a month, and the video got like 1.3 million views on TikTok. And then it was posted to Instagram as well. And it kind of flopped at first on Instagram, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, and then like a month later, it went viral on Instagram. So for like 2 months solid, every time I logged into my accounts, I was just getting destroyed on both apps. And I was just like, I called Luis. It's like, Luis, I can't post my own videos. Like, you have to run the account. Like, I can't take it right now. I have to check out from the app. Like, because he was like, this guy's a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. It's like you see it 100 times in a day, and you're just like, am I an idiot?
Yeah, it does stuff to you. Like, obviously, you have to do everything you can to put up walls so that it just rolls right off you. But it does do something to you. You know what I mean? So
it's just the repetition. The repetition, I think. Right.
If you hear it enough times, you're like, oh, okay. But for anyone watching this who maybe they're a creator and they hear how you're someone who gets views and your whole team gets views, what are some tips that you often give when someone's editing, creating content, not getting the views?
Well, the first thing is, I mean, I can give you editing hacks. Like I'll give those first, but these are not near as important as like what I'm going to say after this, which is like the psychology. Like obviously, if you have like a headline in the first 3 seconds of the video, like what the video is about, and like it's intriguing enough, like we don't match the subtitles usually in the first 3 seconds. We just put a block of text there that's like a headline. Like think of it like an email subject line. What's going to get you to open the email? Like that's, and use Apple colors and like Apple emojis. They're more relatable. Like that's like a big thing. And obviously no dead space. And like we spend most of our time editing. If a video takes an hour to edit, start to finish, like I tell the editors, like 30 minutes of that should be spent on the first 5 to 10 seconds. Like, or even it could even skew like 80% and then the rest of the video. Like, and then, we're actually leaning away from like not as much subtitle heavy, but image heavy. Like if you've seen a lot of my videos, there's a lot of big images, like, and some of those images we have to Photoshop and make ourselves. Like it's that extra, step. So it's like, those are some hacks and big images and brands and logos, like no cuts, like real precise, like smooth audio, good lighting, all of that will get you more views if you don't currently have that. But then if you're doing a lot of that and you're like, my videos are good, the real shit that gets views is you're probably speaking at too high of a level than TikTok can recognize. Like, and if you're remotely smart, if you're making videos, you're probably smarter than the people consuming TikToks. So like you're talking up here and they're right here. And that doesn't, and like one thing I tell our editors and I was like, TikTok's not dumb. We're just not smart enough to dumb the message down so they understand it. Like we have to make the message to where they understand it, not, like, and that's where, like, when it comes to like, we film with all, like, people don't know that, like, we film with all the clients. Like we do it over Zoom and in person. We do massive filming sessions, like 100 videos in a day. And that's coming with prepared topics, like bullet points, like things that we want to cover. And we're focused on like their speech patterns. Like I'll film a line multiple times to get the right tonality and the right pattern to where like when it edits, it's like, that's the line, and like over detail on things, like tactical breakdown, step by step. Like basically, we look at it as, and you'll notice it like at some point in a lot of like my videos, there should be a point where somebody could screenshot the video and get a culmination of what the video is about. Like it just has to be understandable. Like you have to understand what's being said, because that's what gets shared. Like that's what gets people to get the views. And so like we spend a lot of time like prior to editing the videos, like working with the clients on like, okay, here's the topics. Are you cool with these? Like, do you want to do more of this, like this? Because we never want to script anything. I don't believe in that. But it's like, hey, we made these 25 videos, like have a high likelihood of getting views. What's your take on these? And then film it, and then like, what is the, do you have a story about that? Do you have you use that to like make money in your business? And do you have a step-by-step breakdown? Or like, really like getting clear on like what's being said and taking it from like, like a huge common, like marketers are guilty of this, like really smart people. Like it's like, I work with, brilliant people. I'm just like, they'll say words and I'm just like, nobody knows what the fuck that word is.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that all the time.
Yeah. And like, can you say that again? Like, and then it's like, yeah, just Google this. It's like, they're not going to Google. What does it mean?
No way.
Like, so it's like things like that and having that mindset when you film. And I mean, we've edited for some very like hard to edit for people. Like editing Jordan Peterson's videos is not an easy task, like,
I can imagine.
So it's like, and we worked with them for him and Michaela for like 6 months, and they just got acquired by Daily Wire, so like we stopped working with them. Regardless of like, there's no political affiliation in my company. It's like we edit everybody, and we get both sides. We get views. It's just very easy to get Democrats more views than Republicans. So, but yeah, like it's just being able to, and it's like taking the responsibility as an editor too. It's just like, is this video easy to understand? Like, yes or no? Like, and that's my goal. That's like what, when we don't do that with every edit, like, it's not always 100%, but it's like, it's getting, the message to where the audience can understand it. And I don't necessarily know what level the audience is on, but like the dumbed down that we make it seems to get more views. So it's like, you got to keep pushing the barrier down lower and lower.
Yeah. I've heard a grade 3 level is like the way that you want to communicate. And I would say that's very true. And I would say I made a big mistake for a lot of my social career to this point, speaking at just too high of a level. And it's, to me, it was like, oh, it's not how I normally talk, but it's like, if anyone is feeling like they can't understand that, that's a major problem, right? So I'm trying to really trying to bring it down. But another question that I had for you based off what you just said there was, so you give your clients ideas for content as well?
Everything.
And so how do you know what a good idea is, and how do you put these all together?
Well, I am at a very, very big advantage over the general population because of the amount of accounts that we run and the size of them. We see a lot of data. And that, like, and I pride myself on being able to build that data pool. But I also understand that not everybody has that data pool, like, which is a competitive advantage for me. And I totally not, I'm dumb enough, I'm smart enough to know that like that's a good thing for me. And that's why like a lot of people work with us, because they're like, we're like, I call us they're the Facebook of short form. Like we have just, and when I say that, it's just that we make enough videos like that work really well. Like, I know if I make a video, if so-and-so makes a video, then, and it does 1 million views, then I could probably have this other person make a video. It's probably going to do a large amount. And this person, and it's not the same video. Like I know TikToks would be like, they're all saying the same thing. It's like, no, it's the same like topic concept. Yeah. It's like I know Chipotle. If you make a video about Chipotle, you are going to get significantly more views than if you didn't make a video about Chipotle. So it's like, what's your take on Chipotle? So, and then there's like things like, relationships, marriage advice, all these, and it's led us to kind of, Reddit is a very good place.
Reddit's phenomenal.
Like specifically the teenager forums. Like let me take my jacket off. The teenager forum, like nobody realizes when I started, I was just making videos about making videos. Like, and I mean, that's like all my earlier videos are just strictly, use this ring light, do this, make yourself this. And I could never crack, like I was getting high views, but I couldn't crack the 1 million viewed barrier, like per se. Like I was never going viral. And like, all the indicators were working. I was just like, this has like an 85% watch time. It's got like 150, 200 shares. Like by nature, this video should go viral. Like, and I just wasn't happening. It wasn't until Luis was like, yo, I somehow ended up on the Reddit teenager forum last night, and man, it's depressing as shit. And I, and he's like, but I got a lot of topic ideas that I think we could make some videos about. And I was like, well, they're obviously not about making videos on Reddit teenager forum. And he's like, no, they're about making friends and stuff like that. And I was like, being my background in, you know, dating and pickup, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like I'm pretty good at
That
that,
could work.
you know.
Yeah.
So the first video I did, which was like the go out by yourself video, it's gone viral like 5 times. Like
Wow.
that was the first video that I made where I didn't talk about making videos. And
Mm.
I got 4 million views on that video and gained 60,000 followers. It took my account
Jeez.
from 20,000 to 80,000 overnight. Like,
Wow.
and then I was like, okay, people like this stuff. And what I did was then I just started making videos about all kinds of different things, like networking, making friends, business. Like I completely went outside of my niche, like of making videos. And now I truly believe, and this is like we tell like that you don't need a niche anymore. Like the algorithm will figure out what if you make a video and it's good, the algorithm will put it where it needs to be, regardless of what you've made previous videos about before. You know, so knowing that now when we make topics for clients, like we just say, okay, like relationships, wealth, finance, money making, you know, social skills, like where
Universal
are you,
topics of
yeah,
interest.
where are you at on these, like, you know, and you can usually tell because like we don't just like, I mean, we do research. Like when we get a new client, like we watch their YouTube channel, like we listen to their podcasts, we, you know, knowing that we need to come up with like let's say 100 topics for a video shoot to get video content for 3 to 4 months, like we got to have a pretty good understanding of who they are and what they're about, you know.
Yeah,
So
you do.
you know
Wow.
that's the level, like, you know, and that's why people are like, well, how do you charge what you charge? It's like because that's where we operate at, you
Yes.
know. It just isn't just you send us footage, we edit and send it back, you know. Like it's more overarching branding, and that, and again doing that all the time, you see patterns, you see like, and it just it once we've kind of, you know, watched enough content of somebody, like we can pretty much say, yo, make this video, you're going to go viral.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
That's a fortunate position.
yeah, and if they speak it properly, you know,
It goes.
or it usually gets the views. And
Yeah.
you know, and that creates an interesting dichotomy for like me as a company owner, because it's like the expectations for us are super high because they're paying premium, so like they expect the viral, and
Yeah.
we do it enough because we're good at it that it becomes the norm, so the expectations are higher, you know. So it's like it's very like it's an interesting, like I feel like I walk like the line of like always about to go crazy because of like, you know, clients texting me about like view counts and this, and it's just like, you know, and but we know like it's like back, I think it's like the only thing in, you know, call content for what it is, but the only thing a client cares about is views. Like at
Mm.
least in my, and I worked with a lot of them, like it's not about the money they're spending, it's not about, it's the views. It's like if their videos are not getting views, my phone is
They're not
ringing.
happy.
If my phone is silent, they're getting views. You know,
Yeah.
like, and
100%.
so that's where, like, you know, going back to like video editors, like I'm like, you have to. It's a level of pressure. I think most people don't want to take on with the performance and doing that, but it's like, you know, there's so many copycats. How do you differentiate yourself? It's like I could literally go to anybody that has a full editing team. If I had no company, I'm like, I just want an editing job, I would go to somebody like Ed Milet or like even Cardone, like, and I would edit until I beat their views, and then
Yeah.
say, you
Pay
know,
me.
pay me. Like,
Yeah.
like that's, and like that's how I would get any job now, like that, you know, because I know what to do, and I
Yeah.
only know that because, and like my account is like the testing grounds too. It's like I tell people, like I'm a normal, like up until having this studio, which I've only had for a month, I filmed every video out of my kitchen.
Yeah.
Like if I'm getting 1 million views talking
The
about,
kitchen.
you know, pickup lines from my kitchen, clearly I know something, you know, like,
Yes.
and it's, that's what I tell clients too. I'm like, you don't need the fancy shit. Like you just need to speak shit properly to where people understand it. And you know, and the topics kind of just come from, you know, I mean, just a list, like Reddit's always good. YouTube comments are amazing. Even hate comments, like what are they mad at? Like what triggered them? Can we make videos about that? Like TikTok is, I mean, TikTok's good, but your algorithm kind of takes over on what you're interested in, so you don't really see anything outside of that.
Yeah.
Um, So, but the search function is decent. So like, somebody like video editing, I could search that and look at videos, but that's pretty short-sighted. I think that we try to go a little outside of that scope, which is where like Reddit, YouTube comments, like most popular videos, like YouTube had that feature now where like you can see what part of the video is popular, like shit like that, like what part's popular, are people like, so and then it's just, like I said, we're posting 60 some odd videos a day. So it's like, how did those videos react from yesterday? Which videos did well? Which ones flopped?
Yeah. So all this sounds like a logistical nightmare. Like, how do you keep track of all of this stuff? Like, are there software tools you're using, or like, how do you build systems that make this sustainable?
Well, it is a logistical nightmare. The company itself is, it's very hard to get ahead on videos because of the output is very high. I mean, we do daily videos for all of our clients, and then some of our clients, the bigger ones, which I mean, you guys probably already know, like Cardones and shit, they do 2 a day. Like Hormozis are doing 3 a day. Like so managing the videos like has become quite a feat. So we have a pretty well organized Drive system, like with Google Drive. We use Monday.com to keep track of what videos are in progress, where they're at in the process. Like I have a full-time quality control person. That's all they do is she's the barrier before videos get posted. We have a poster, like Luis. He's also kind of like, he does a mix of everything, but like he posts every video. So there's always those, there's like 2 lines of defense before a video gets posted. And then, we have getting the editors to like the optimal output, like so they're quality, but they're able to keep up like with so it's like we found, like, I mean, for people, 4 videos a day is the max for an editor. Like I have an editor that does 6 a day, and she's a machine. Like I constantly, I'm like, are you okay? Like because that's the thing too, because in this business, like burnout's gonna hit. It's just a matter of when. And I try to mitigate that. Like that's why they work Monday through Friday, no weekends. Like, but we operate on like a 1 revision rule. So it's like if the video requires more than 1 revision, then you need more training as an editor. So like so because we have like the videos have to come in, they got to be done by 5 p.m. The first round of videos has to come in by 5 p.m. and then the revisions go out between 5 to 8, and then they have to be returned like with it by 9, like Monday through Friday. So it's like, and I have editors, like I have 2 overseas, I have multiple on the West Coast. Like it's, I feel like we try to keep it organized, but it's like it's always fucking like it's just always chaos. And then like you have to have fail safes in place, because sometimes we post a video and the client doesn't like it. We don't, for most of the clients, I'm completely against having them watch the videos before we post them, because that is so I'm like, when they work with us, and now thankfully the level of clients I work with, the trust is kind of there before we start. And I understand that,
want it like that.
Yeah, and I understand that not everybody will have that luxury. But you don't want the client revising before the video is posted, because it's a logistical nightmare from this change, and especially at the volume of videos that we're putting out, like it literally throws a wrench in the entire thing. So that is like so if the client does want us to do that, which I work with people that do, we basically give ourselves 14 days. Like, so it's like we edit 14 days worth of videos. Like before we actually start posting, we send that to them, like, and we do it like that. But I'm pretty adamant of like, we're only going to do this for the first 30 days. And then you have to trust us. Like, because, and, some do, some don't. Eventually over time they do, but it's like, that's a major logistical, like, thing that fucks everything up, is like when clients want revisions. So like I try to like position prior to that. That's where like I'm a salesman, so like I sell that hard. Like, guys, like we have your best interests at heart. We work with this person. Like, it's not my goal to tarnish. And again, it's like a level of responsibility that I don't think actually editors are taking, because it's like, you are their face, you are their brand, especially with short form, because of the views. Like, you get a client that gets 1 million views on the video, you just became the face of their brand. Like, what you put in that video was now what they're being associated with. So like
True.
there's a lot of videos we could make too for certain clients that we know would get a lot of views, but we don't. Like even clients, we censor some of the clients. Like we're like, you know, I have a few politically charged clients. Like I'm like, yo, dude, we can't
say that.
We're not putting that on TikTok. Instagram, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but we are not putting that on TikTok, you know. And they build up the trust and they learn to like, you know, they like us for that. Like it's like that, you know. So it's, I mean, I don't know. I feel like in a lot of cases, a lot of what I deal with is unique, but it's just comes back to like I am 100% confident that our videos, the way they are, will get you the most views. Just don't fuck them up. Like don't fuck with them. Like you know, and
that's the way to handle it. I think.
Yeah.
Is that just like we do what we do, let us do it. And I think you're like you said is very very important. Is that who you're working with will allow that to take place or not. So I think it's really important to be selective with the clients you take on.
Yeah, and then it's me too because like that's my account. Like people are like, how do you make money from TikTok? It's like my account is a business card for getting views. Like
it's a great way of putting that.
Like if my account is not getting views, then what trust do the clients have in me? Like, and they're watching me. I promise. I'm on their For You pages. Like, you know, and they're following me on Instagram. So it's like those things are like that's why I get like video editors when I see it's like, well, you have no videos on your page. Like, you know, and I think there's a level of like a lot of people say a lot, but they don't back that up. I made a video about that. Like the irony of the one I made yesterday isn't doing that good where I said that, you know, it's just that they preach that they can do all this with video and they can get you these views and get you these, but then you look at their page and there's nothing there. And it's like, do you know what it's like when if you edit a video and you get taken out of context and you get 1,000 hate comments? Do you know what that feels like as a person? It's like, no, you don't, like, because it hasn't happened to you. Like, I share that sentiment with every client because I know what it's like to be taken out of context because I can literally say, hey, it happened on this video and this is what happened. Like, you know, so it's like, you know, the people, that's why I respect people like yourself, like people that are teaching TikTok and doing it. I'm like, if you actually have a following and you're doing it like on your own, like you're not just coming in because, oh, I can edit subtitles like this and like I can make money. It's like, okay, well, like that's why most of my account is built up of like videos that have nothing to do with what I actually do and or no mention of that I work with clients. Like, you know, it's just me getting views on videos. And I want people to wonder, how does he keep doing that? Like, then that's because it's leveraged for the clients. It's like, this guy's in it with us. Like, and I tell them like, we don't roll anything out to the your guys' edits unless I've tested it on mine. So like, I mean, if people are smart, they see on my, like, I've changed up the style and some of the things I'm doing now. Like, I'm testing things that will probably become a staple if we bring it out to like the Cardones, like, because they see that, then it spreads. So it's, you know, it's just very interesting, you know, working with that. But again, it's just like, if I'm not getting views, I'm like, you know, which is a lot of pressure. I mean, you probably experience the pressure too. It's just like, if I get too many videos that flop, it's like, is this going to cost me a client? Like,
yeah. So we operate more in the YouTube space. Like, so we do basically very similar to what you do, but we do long form on YouTube.
Got it.
And it's the same sort of deal. Like, there's always pressure for performance. And if anything goes wrong, they're pointing at you. And usually when things go well, they're not. They're pointing at themselves. So it's definitely a game for sure.
Yeah. My question about YouTube, like, are you, this is why I haven't delved back into the YouTube world. Cause part of me does want to. It's like, I want to edit 5 to 6 minute videos, how I edit my TikToks. And I just know the mountain of editing that is going to be.
That'd be a nightmare.
And that's but I know the retention on those is going to be absurd. Like, I like, are you forefronting for that because all it's going to take is one psychopath like me to go through and spend 20 hours a day editing their videos and posting one every other day.
If we were to do that, that would completely change my business model because that would be a whole lot more work. But it would be worth experimenting with for sure because I think that could bring some pretty crazy returns. But even like, I would totally be posting your stuff on Shorts, which I'm.
Oh yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. I haven't seen comparatively TikTok and Reels. Like, as I started a new channel, like, and I repost, and some of them pop off. Like, I don't think I've gotten one over 50,000 views. Like, and the channel on Shorts.
Shorts. Shorts.
Like, so I don't know, like, but we have, I mean, Cardone, for example, like, I mean, if you search his most popular video, like the top 100 videos are all shorts with like 20, 30 million views. Like,
Dang.
so I don't know. I don't know if it's something I'm doing that's not there on my account, or I don't know if it's just the content's not hitting, but I haven't seen that like success with shorts. Like it hasn't, like my clients have, like to the point where like we're getting clients now that come with the intention on like we want shorts, and but as a byproduct of TikTok Bro is cool, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Modern Wisdom is like we're in talks with him like to do his
Cool.
shorts, but it's yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just personally haven't. I'm like, I guess I haven't caught the shorts bug because I'm like,
It'll come.
yeah, reels and freaking like. I mean, I've gone viral on Instagram, more times than I have on TikTok. The irony of that, like,
Wow.
I think I've done like 7 videos over 1 million views on reels. You
Wow.
know, like which like that was crazy. Like I actually got the shout out from Hormozi's video, and
Yeah.
2 of my videos went viral in the same like week, and my account went from 14,000 to 50,000 followers.
Dang.
Like, and that was like, I was like, holy shit. It was like, I thought Instagram was dead. I was like, I was like, I would make stories where I would compare my TikTok views to my Instagram views, and I would just talk shit about Instagram. Like, and then people like hit me up and they're like, you don't do those comparison posts anymore on your stories. I'm like, yeah, because Instagram gets me more views than TikTok right now. So
Yeah, it's coming up.
like, I'm like, I can't make fun of Instagram no more because I kind of like them now. Like, but yeah,
That's
it's a,
awesome.
but I mean, we're consistent. I mean, I post daily on shorts too, so it's just a matter of time. But like, I haven't delved into like specifically focusing on it yet. At least for myself. For the clients, like we do, because it's as nature, like it just see if you have a following already, it seems that they push them really quick. Like if you're like, I mean, I think my account right now has like 1,700 subscribers. Like, which it's better than nothing. But like to me, like I'm not getting excited over that yet.
100%. 100%.
So.
Well, Ryan, you dropped a ton of gems throughout this. I got one classic interview question that I like to that'll wrap us up with. So there's a hypothetical scenario for you. It's a dinner party that you're hosting. You can bring any three people, dead or alive, and you get to pick the main course and dessert. What's your dinner party?
Oh, so 3 people.
Anybody dead or alive?
Well, I have to bring my fiance because she's alive, so that'd be kind of a dick if I didn't bring. So I'd take up one. Man, trying to think. I feel like I always resort to the degenerates that want to party. Like, so I'm like, I feel like some like it would be crazy, like Nikki Sixx from like Motley Crue, like some of the crazy like shit that I was like, that would just be awesome to hear about.
Yeah.
And then I would have to bring somebody. I would probably bring somebody super smart. And since everybody loves Alex Hormozi, I'd probably ask him.
That'd be a good dinner conversation. And what are you having for food?
I would eat Chipotle.
Yeah, of course. And what about dessert?
Dessert, I actually like those old school like chipwiches. Those are like the cookie sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I would I would forego dessert and have vodka sugar free Red Bulls.
There you go. I like it, man. I like it. So anybody who's listening to this, where can they find you? Where can they find your stuff to work with you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to my Instagram, like obviously how I reached out to you, like when I saw you made the video, like my Instagram, I communicate mostly with Instagram. TikTok is like my big platform, so like notifications and shit get really out of hand. It's hard to keep up with. But I mean, and as to work with me, like right now, like if you want to work with me, it's like send a DM. But if I say no, it's just I'm fortunate to where I'm maxed out on clients, and unless you come in with more clout than a current client, I'm probably I'm and I'm also in the pivot, like I'm not quite sure if I want to take my agency above where it is. Like I haven't decided that yet. So like
awesome.
Because it's doing very well and it's getting optimized, but I can honestly, now that I have a big personal brand, that's a lot I want to explore there. Like obviously, so.
Absolutely,
but that's what I'm saying. Like if you're big, I'll definitely we'll hop on a call.
Don't get it twisted. Yeah, definitely. So all those information, everything that Ryan mentioned will be linked down below, however you're consuming this. So go check him out. Go give him a follow on all the platforms. And Ryan, personally, thanks so much for chopping it up. I've been watching your stuff for a while, so it's been awesome to actually finally put a face to the name and speak. And thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And like again, thank you for that video. I when I messaged you, I was like, shit, he messaged me a long fucking time ago. I was like, that's the testament of like DMs getting lost, which I'm sure you know. I was like,
happens all the time.
That made me. I was like, and for future, if you're trying to get the attention of anybody, like what you did was, I was like, instantly same day. Like I was like, that was great. So, but thank you for making that, and also just for making it good to where, like, I just was like, that was a good video. Like I was like, you know, to where I was like, all right, I'm proud of that video being made about me. So
I'm glad to hear it, man. That was the goal, so I'm glad that it worked. And yeah, it's a little pro hack. If you ever need to get someone's attention, make a good video about them.
I do it for brands all the time too.
Oh, really?
Like, well, that's why
awesome.
people like I made it about CrossFit shoes. It wasn't to get
Yes,
views.
yes.
That was because I want to get free shoes.
Did you get free shoes?
I haven't yet, but they shared it, so I'm on the radar.
Soon, next post. Well,
but
thanks so much,
thanks a
man. I
lot, man.
appreciate you, man. And
Appreciate
we'll talk soon.
Take it easy, man.